Hello, everybody. It has been a while, but we are here. Well, I am here at least. And you know what? Today I woke up and chose a little bit of violence, so we're gonna have a little bit of fun here today. I was inspired by a mutual on Tumblr who decided to do a little tier list of themselves when it came to Miraculous. So I'm here to give my own thoughts. Now, where they did just the holders, I decided to do all the characters, or at least all the ones I cared about, I should say. These do not include the Kwamis because let's be honest with ourselves, we may have seen the Kwamis a lot, but there's only a fair few that actually got some attention, so I'm not gonna really worry about that kind of stuff. But I am looking forward to doing the rest of this. Now, just remember that this is all in my own opinion. If you do not agree with me, I'm sorry that we have differing opinions, but that is just the case of how it is. Without further ado, let us get into this. Basically, it is every other tier list possible, with some just slight little comments on what I'd have to say. Obviously, your S tier is perfection. These are the characters I adore, despite canon writing it being absolute shit. Thank you, Asterisk. Then you have excellent, which are just a tier touchdown. They're okay. They're better than the good and okay characters, but they're not quite in the perfection tier. Good and okay, there's a fine line between them. I would probably say most of the okay characters are gonna be the ones I don't really know too much about because, you know, that's just how the show is. Why is the questionable writing around some of the characters and the fuck off, well, you should be able to figure that one out just fine. Anyway, let us get into this. And also, as a treat for those that haven't seen the show and just clicked on this for the hell of it, I am going to include bigger versions of the pictures just so that you guys can see. And without further ado, let us kick it off with... Looks like Adrian Agrest. Oh, lovely. Alright, Adrian, where would I put you? You know what? I'd say good, only because we had a lot of problems with this come the last season. I still like Adrian somewhat from the earlier seasons, but I think we can all kind of agree he got a little bit of a downgrade, unfortunately. He had a very good story. He was very obviously connected with the main plot, with obviously his father being fucking Hawkmoth, the main villain, but Marinette kind of took over in the 4th and 5th seasons, which really shafted Adrian into the background with a lot of the other characters. I do agree with a lot of people when they say that it became more Tales of Ladybug and not Ladybug and Cat Noir. Adrian really took a backseat and became more of the trophy boyfriend. And despite what Asterix says of Adrian being the Ken to Marinette's Barbie, that is an absolute insult on Ken because Ken is, well, let's just face it, Ken is a lot better than Adrian. That's no shame on Ken, but it's definitely a lot of shame on Adrian. Overall, he was very strong in the beginning of the series. However, as time went on and their focus on Marinette and her guardianship and everything else about that whole thing really kicked off, and season 4 and season 5 rolled around, Adrian really did fall by the wayside. Which is disappointing because, again, he has a very big part in the story, or he should at least. You would think. But we're not getting into that here. Alright, moving on. We have Alex Cadell. I hope I'm saying that right. Fuck. Anyway, I actually put in excellent. So while we don't get too much of Alex, because again, she, among many others, are background characters, she does have a significant role in the plot itself. And while I'm not a fan of time travel and that kind of shit myself, I do enjoy seeing Alex as Bunnix. I love seeing the adult version of her and how cool and awesome she is when she grows up and everything. But I also do just generally enjoy seeing this little rebellious teenager. She's a lot of fun when I see her. Especially when it's with Kim, because let's be honest, they had a really interesting dynamic as, you know, in the, what was it, I think, Timebreaker? Yeah, that was a good episode. You'll find season 1, one of the favorite ones there. But anyway, Alex I would definitely put in the excellence here just because, I don't know, she feels a little more grounded, and you see a little bit more of her through the little interactions, her wanting to be an engineer, her wanting to fulfill her dad's dream of being able to, like, see other times, periods in history, I think is a better way to put it. She's very kind and caring, and you know what? I like her a lot more than some of the other characters on those lists. But with that said, let's move on. Alia Césaire. So this is gonna be an interesting one. I think she's honestly just okay. Now, I've always been in the okay boat for Alia. She's a good best friend to Marinette. When she's not enabling, I will say that when she's not enabling, because she does have some tendencies to enable Marinette's behavior in the earlier seasons. Obviously, in the later seasons, we do see that she does kind of be like, hey, you need to stop, because what you're doing isn't right. That I do appreciate, but at the same time, she did do the bit of enabling in the beginning with the crazy schemes and whatnot, and obviously they're going to be teenagers, and teenagers are going to be stupid. That much is going to be obvious. It's a sad, unfortunate truth that I think most of us also need to realize is that these are like 13, 14, 15-year-olds, roughly. Maybe a 16-year-old or two thrown in there, but they're all going to be generally stupid, in my experience with dealing with teenagers, especially preteens in that kind of state. They're going to make mistakes, they're going to make stupid decisions. It's unfortunate. And Alia just feels like a generic kind of teen. She likes superheroes, she's Marinette's best friend, she runs a lady blog, but she is kind of annoying at times, which, again, teenager, so I don't really fault her at all. She's just an overall okay kind of character. Now, let's take a look at the next one. Ooh, Amelie. Alright, so, yeah, I kind of do like Amelie. Even though we don't see too much of her, and the bits that we do get is very, how do I say, not enough. I do get an idea of who Amelie is, just from her interactions with Felix and even Gabriel. She obviously has no love for Gabriel and absolutely adores Felix. I do wish we could see a little bit more of how she feels about Colt, her husband, because that leaves a lot of interesting ideas, especially when you see how Felix feels about Colt, which obviously we'll get to that a little bit later. But overall, I do enjoy her character. She's feisty when she needs to be, but she is also very, how do I say, loving. We see that through with Felix, and we see her defiance and feistiness whenever she stands up to Gabriel. So you know what? I do appreciate her on that mark. I do wish we could see more of her. However, what we do get, I do enjoy. So overall, she is a good character. Next up, we have, okay. Let me explain here. Anarka is probably one of my favorite of the parents. Not one of, but the favorite of the parents. Honestly, she feels probably the best parent out there, even though she is dysfunctional herself. She doesn't allow her children to have that kind of freedom, and I do appreciate that. And you also do see, and migration, I fucking hate that episode, but you do see her genuinely being a good parent, where Luke is just like, I gotta go now, I am a danger to Paris, and she's just like, oh hell nah bitch, you're still my son and you are still a teenager, you ain't going nowhere. I do find it a little upsetting that she let Luca go with Jagged, because Jagged is not a good parent, but that is neither here nor there. That is for later. But I do appreciate her. She is fun. She is wild. She is crazy. I wouldn't say crazy, but unhinged is probably the better way to put it. But I absolutely do adore Anarka. Definitely one of my favorites. I love every time she's on screen. She honestly steals the show for me, even though we only see her a little bit. But I absolutely adore this bitch. Right, next is... Ooh, Andre. He can fuck off. Okay, so this is an easy one for me. This is a spineless, wet cardboard pushover of a man. Honestly, I'm kind of upset that he got something of a redemption come season 5. And you could argue if it was actually a redemption or whatever the case is, but he was given that moment of, I've cheated everyone in this city and I've done terrible things. And we honestly get that. It's where Chloe got a lot of her behaviors, obviously, because he was the one that raised her. Well, should be obvious at this point. So seeing him have that moment of clarity, we're like, fuck you, Gabriel, I'm not gonna do it anymore. I'm like, well, good for you, buddy. You still gotta atone for everything else. It doesn't make it any better when he does basically send Chloe away with Audrey, which, dude, that's probably the worst decision you could have made. But you know, whatever. We're not responsible parents over here. Except when he kidnaps Zoe. And yes, I'm gonna say kidnap because Zoe is not his daughter. She is Audrey's daughter and Mr. Lee's daughter. So he has no authority over Chloe, Zoe. And if I'm not mistaken, there was something maybe of a divorce between him and Audrey, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe they are separated at this point. So it's like, dude, that's not your child. No, just, he didn't deserve what he got to get off scot-free. He really should have been somewhat punished for his decisions, for letting Chloe run rampant, and for honestly not being a good dad at all. For basically just enabling his child, calling her a monster while not really admitting his own faults in raising her that way. And yeah, no, and basically kidnapping Zoe. That's about that right there. Sorry, Andre, like, you were just a pushover at first, but season 5 really sealed your fate. Sorry, mate. Alright, next is Okay, okay. So I actually really like this bitch. Now, I know that's probably a little controversial when I look at Andre, but Andre, at least I guess somewhat trying to be a father. Audrey does not give two shits about her fucking daughters. She is a businesswoman through and through. She could not care less about anything else except her brand, her business, and everything else. And she doesn't even really acknowledge her kids in a way. I bet you if you confronted her about how awful of a mother she is, she would just turn you away, probably say you're fired, and continue with business. Obviously, I love this bitch just for that kind of personality. She does not give two fucks about anything else. She does not care about her daughters. There's no doesn't really. She does not at all. And I love her for it. She is just awful all the way through, rotten to her very fucking core, and I love her for it. She is great, she's evil, she's dastardly, and she's everything I love in these kind of situations. She is by no means a good person at all, but it's a lot of fun seeing her. I just love to absolutely fucking hate this bitch. Next is this is another fuck off. I hate Bob Roth so much, and it also adds into migration. While I loved Anarka in that episode because she basically throws him overboard the entire time, which was cathartic. I do not like this man. He is obviously meant to be disliked in the same light as Audrey, but whereas I enjoy Audrey, I do not enjoy Bob at all. Bob is awful. He's manipulative, and every time he opens his mouth, I just want to punch him in the face. I mean, good on them. They did their job. They did their job. All right, next is. Oh, gosh. Okay. This is gonna be the first in the Y. So, she's not exactly the best character. I'm just gonna outright say it. She's kind of negligent towards her students, and she seems like almost like a generic American kind of teacher. Where, obviously, I grew up in the public education system, so the teachers there aren't the fucking best. And no, a lot of her behaviors I see, along with some of the other teachers, but they didn't really make this list, are just I don't really care for her dismissal of some of the other students, and just a lot of things with her. It just, she could have been written better. I don't have too strong of an opinion otherwise, but there's just a lot of things I don't really care about her. Now, we have... Okay. Chloe, so, now this is based off canon. I'm just gonna put her in okay. Alright, so I am not the biggest Chloe stan. I do believe she should have had something of redemption. It's one thing to obviously do the damnation that they did, which did infuriate me along with many others, but I'm not as mad about it as many other people are. In hindsight, looking back at the episodes, it does make sense when she does reach that damnation point. Marinette had basically condemned her to it, admittedly, which the only thing that bothers me about that is the whole Marinette not really acknowledging her faults there, but that's a whole nother issue. Chloe, we got to see that tragedy, and that's what really endeared me to her, but then when the whole Miracle Queen happened, and she went back to her evil ways, I was disappointed, I'm not gonna lie, but I do see the damnation arc. She basically doubled back when her hero, her role model, Ladybug, basically said, fuck you, when she picked someone else that had also revealed her identity. It was a little... No, yeah, that wasn't cool. It's fair to see why Chloe would break and agree to help Hawkmoth, especially when Hawkmoth came in when Chloe was vulnerable. That's usually when the villains come in to manipulate you. Think Ariel and Ursula. Ursula came in when Ariel was at her weakest point and manipulated her into accepting a otherwise shitty-ass deal. It's the same deal here with Chloe. Hawkmoth came in while she was vulnerable, her parents were akumatized, and her role model picked someone else that had also revealed her identity, but had given them a miraculous again. So it's no wonder that she would have doubled down again, especially when Zoe comes into the picture and starts winning everyone's attention. So no, yeah, I see the damnation. I kind of enjoy it, looking back in retrospective, now that the emotions aren't as high and everything. But I would have liked to see this character get a redemption, but again, I don't mind the damnation. I do kind of hope she stays out of the rest of the series, to be quite honest with you, like written out. Because Chloe, she just, leave the girl alone. I know why she was created, I know what she is to Astruck, and just leave the girl alone. Please, that's all we fucking need at this point. Don't hurt her anymore. She's done enough, you've damned her, you've written her out, you got rid of her. Call it a day, please. Okay, so we have Emily, and I'm also gonna put this one in the Y because there's not a whole lot we know about her. We've seen little bits and pieces from Adrian and Gabriel, obviously, but funny enough, not from Amelie, if I'm not mistaken. We might get some bits and pieces here and there about little comments, but we only really see kind of hints more through Gabriel and Adrian, and I have to wonder how much of it is through rose-tinted glasses. What kind of mother was she? Was she really someone that is kind and considerate that we've been led to believe? It's kind of almost like the whole Rose Quartz situation, where you have the characters hyping her up as this amazing person, but then she does have her own dark secrets. I know something that I do see around that does make me wonder as well is the whole Senti thing, because, you know, that's the thing now in the show that we have to deal with, and good for you all who called it out long ago. Anyway, it makes me wonder how much she abused that as well, or if she did at all, because the amok was in the rings, both the rings, the twin rings. So which means she would have had one of the amuks on her. Well, part of the amok on her. So how much of that did she abuse? And so on and so forth. It just makes me kind of wonder a little bit, what kind of mother was Emily? And if we would ever really actually find out. Our only chance really was through Gabriel when you think about it, but maybe we could see a little more through Adrian, because as far as it seems, Adrian knew her for a long time, so what kind of person was she? Why don't we get to see more of that? It's honestly kind of sad that she's more of a plot point than anything else. She's not even allowed to be a person that they can develop and make us want her to come back. I get why they don't want us to want her to come back, but regardless, it would have been nice to know more about her, especially when we get the Paris special and you see Claude Noir reverse Adrian really missing his mother and wanting her back. So it's like, what kind of person was she? Why can't we find out? Why does she have to be this mystery? Make us want her back as much as Adrian does. Make us understand. Again, I just wish they just give more to her. It leaves a lot of speculation for the fans, but speculation has its limits and can cause a lot of problems when you get people that don't have really agreeing views, and you get to see the shit show begin. But that's the fun of it all. Alright, moving on to another hot topic. So, Felix. Oh, fuck, where do I want to put you? I'm gonna put you in okay. Felix was a disappointment for me. He had the potential of a really interesting kind of villain. It was very interesting to see him kind of going against Adrian, where he was constantly trying to destroy Adrian's happiness, basically being a fucking little shit. But we don't really get that towards season 5. It was honestly kind of whiplash watching Felix go from I hate you, Adrian, to I would do anything for you, Adrian. I'm just sitting here like, did you see this coming? And Celia, my friend, who I unfortunately put her through all this, she's just like, no, she was just as confused as I was. So to say that Felix's turnaround was a little jarring. And then, of course, you pile that on top of the whole Senti thing, and I'm just like, oh, this is the direction we're going. Okay. So I liked Felix at first. I liked his introduction. I liked seeing that little fucking shit that he was. But then we lost that along the way, and it's just, there was so much potential there, and it was lost. And I'm honestly a little disappointed about what we could have had, but didn't get. I will admit, I did like seeing Argos return, or well, not really return, but his debut in the Red Moon Ball, Diamond Dance Ball thing. That was a lot of fun, and seeing just how Gabriel's a fucking idiot. Alright, I'm just gonna say it. Felix was able to use the peacock a lot more effectively, and I do understand his dilemma about using it, considering what he is and what it means to create something and then destroy it. It's a lot of trauma linked to Colt, obviously, which, again, I would want to see more of. We obviously got a little bit of a hint through the presentation, and, Felix being like, oh, well, Colt was a lot worse than Tomo, and I'm just like, show me. I want to see how bad he was, because my depraved mind, it goes to the extreme when it comes to Colt, and, hearing that he was from the Land of War is fucking hilarious every fucking time, so props to them. They're not wrong, but it's fucking hilarious. Anyway, Felix was a letdown in season 5. It was nice, I guess, to see him change, but I wouldn't say it was all that great, to be quite honest with you. Felix had the potential to be something more, but we lost that in the way, and we got what we did. He's just okay now. It's a lot like Chloe. There was a lot of potential for something more and something cool, but we kind of just lost that all along the way, so it's okay. Up next is everyone's favorite, Gabriel. Okay, this guy can fuck off. So, I liked the very first episode, technically Stormy Weather, as in part of, what airing order should be. It was the first episode I watched, and it made Hawkmoth Gabriel genuinely terrifying. He was a formidable foe in that one and only episode. Ever since then, he's gone downhill, and everything was basically dumbed down in that case. It was honestly very disappointing to see that, because he was a genuine threat for that one episode. And afterwards, he just fell apart. And I know he was supposed to be something of a sympathetic villain, but this is not how you do a sympathetic villain. Yes, I get it, he wants his dead wife back, but again, why should I care that he wants his dead wife back? What about her was so special, other than that he loved her, and that, he had a sentient child with her? Honestly, it's poor writing on Ostrich and his whole team, because again, I don't care that his wife is dead. I don't care that he's committing acts of terror, which obviously just works too well. And the whole distant father and trying to be this very strict father kind of fell through the cracks as well when you realize, well, Adrian's a little more on the free spark, because Adrian can do what he wants, go where he wants damn near, and he's only abusive and neglectful when it comes to the story. Another small gripe I have with Adrian, but that's beside the point. That's a whole writing thing, and I'm not going to get to that here. But Gabriel really fell through the cracks. He honestly turned more into a fool than an actual villain. And he had his moments where it seemed like he was generally going to win, but of course we have to give the main character plot armor, because, we can't just have real conflict and real thoughts. Things can't be like the first season, so, he kind of really fell from grace. Not that he was much of anything to begin with, but, he at least had something. So Gabriel, I'm sorry, man, but fuck you. And I'm not even going to touch the finale for season 5, because that's just a whole nother can of worms. I don't have time nor enough sugar to get through it. Alright, so we're gonna just move on. To which we come to Ivan. So Ivan, I do find in the okay territory. He really does show up periodically, and it's mostly Milan, and it's fine. I don't have any real gripes other than his codependency on her. At least what shined through with season 5 when we got towards the end. And his whole nightmares were like, oh, I would have lost you and I can't live without you. And I'm just sitting here like, you're fucking what, 14? Get the fuck over yourself, you broody ass little bitch. Oh, yeah, no, that was the only time I didn't care for Ivan. Every other time I see him, it is cute because he's with Milan, but that also brings up that problem with the codependency, and it's just, that's the biggest flaw I see in him. Otherwise, he's just okay. He's not that great, but he's okay. Now, let's see here. Who is Okay. Where the fuck are you? There you are. Okay, Jagged Stone goes into excellence. So, ignoring the fact that Jagged is Julika and Luca's father, which, kudos. I see why Ostrich changed it to where they were twins, so that way this seemed a little more plausible, so it didn't seem like Anarcha, I don't know what, she fucked Jagged and went and fucked someone else. I don't know what the thinking was there, but I understand it. I wish he would have just done it from the start, but we're here now, it's fine. But Jagged, I generally do enjoy. He's fun, he's stupid. I'm not kidding, he is a fucking moron, but it is enjoyable in his antics. He's very much a man-child, and if I were to meet someone like him in real life, I'd punch him in the face. I'm not even gonna lie there. I fucking hate these kind of people IRL. But being able to see these people of, just in the entertainment industry where they're just living their best life and overall enjoying it, they're obviously a little the stupid part, but you know what? It's fun. It's fun to see. It's very enjoyable, and I do enjoy when he's on screen. The only times I don't is when it comes to Julika and Luca and the whole father thing. I don't care about the whole deadbeat dad kind of thing, and I get that he wants to make up for lost time with his kids, he doesn't know how to, and he's also trying to dodge Anarcha because, well, I agree with Anarcha, kill him, for starters, because I don't know what the fuck happened in the past, but if I'm not mistaken, it was choosing music over her, so yeah, no, it's a bit of a dick move, not even gonna lie. But I do appreciate Jagged for his personality and his character, even though I don't care for the whole trying to do better by his kids. It's just, he does better by Luca. He has his moments with Julika, but it's quite clear he has a favorite himself. And yeah, no, it's... Sorry, Jagged. He would have been in perfection with Anarcha, but because of the whole deadbeat dad angle they went with you, I don't care for you anymore. Sorry, buddy. Speaking of, we got Julika next. Julika I do enjoy. again, she is not perfection because we come into that slight problem where she kind of had a little writing problem. Now, I could be mistaken, and my memory could be fuzzy because I block out a lot of this shit to get through it. It's my coping mechanism. But anyway, we see Julika does have a bit of a voice in the first season, and I think the second season, but it's a little hard to remember because, again, she is a quiet character who is shy and tends to blend into the background, but I do feel like she had more of a voice, and she didn't have the speech impediment that they said she did in later seasons. So it was a little confusing when she just started mumbling out of nowhere. I'm just sitting here, what the fuck is she saying? What did she say? Do I have to put subtitles on for this bitch? I don't know what she's fucking saying. When I know she had moments in the first season and maybe the second season where she was speaking clearly. And I guess I get why they did it, give her a reason to be held back, so she's actually in the classes with Marinette and everyone else, and not with Luca to make the whole twin thing work, but I digress. I enjoy what little character there is for her. She's quiet, she's shy, she's the goth, she has her moments of wisecracks, and I liked Migration only for her heart song, her and Anarka's. But again, the whole writing in the speech impediment, which I don't think it was there in the first 2 seasons, was the kind of, that's unfortunate, very unfortunate. Julika, I love you, but you're not like your mother. Now we come to Kagami. Now, Kagami, my darling queen, where do we put you? You know what? She'd have to be excellent too. So, Kagami, I do enjoy Kagami. Like I said, she's a queen. A motherfucking queen. I loved her in the beginning when she was a rival to Marinette for Adrian's attention. I love the whole her developing more as a person. We get to see more of her and her struggles, obviously because she is essential to the plot. So, you know, that means she gets put in the spot. The only thing I personally don't really agree with, and this is more of a personal taste because, you know, this is me. And for those that follow me on social media, you might know this, but I don't really care for Felagami. It's cute, don't get me wrong. It has its cute moments. But I do kind of agree. It's a little bit on the Stockholm Syndrome part where she basically fell in love with her kidnapper. Just a touch, okay? She does obviously have her moments of defiance, so it's not actually Stockholm Syndrome, but I get the joke, and I kind of agree with the joke a little bit. But nonetheless, I did like her drama a lot more with Adrian and Marinette, and honestly, I feel like she would have been much better with Marinette, because she's basically the exact opposite of Marinette, and something that Marinette needs. And this is more of a personal gripe, but I liked those moments of friendship between them where they could help ground each other and help open each other's eyes to different perspectives. You get Marinette understanding Kagami and her situation more, whereas Kagami learns to let loose and live a little bit more through Marinette. It's actually kind of funny when you go back and watch some of the season 5 episodes. Me and Celia were watching the one where she becomes a Cloud Titan, and we both agreed it was unrequited love that Kagami was feeling, not unrequited friendship. Because that was heavily romance coded. We ain't gonna lie there. It definitely was. So, only gripe is the whole Felagami thing. It was cute, but I wish it had more time to either develop or just something along those lines. It needed something more to actually sell me on it, but I will say yes, it is cute. But unfortunately, again, she is just below perfection. Okay. This Okay, I have a complicated history with Luca. Luca, where do I put you? Oh my gosh, I don't even know where the fuck to put you, mate. So, oh gosh, this is difficult. Fuck me. Okay, we're gonna just put him in good. You know what? Come at me right now. But when I was younger, when I was first starting to watch the series, I think I was back when I was 19 when the series started. God, I'm old. Anyway, I, was watching it, and I honestly liked Luca a lot more than Adrian when he was first introduced. I was swooning over him probably just as much as anyone else, and to this day, my friend Celia is always gonna be a Luca fangirl. I mean, fuck it. He's her best boy. I kid you not. She would not want this kind of man in real life, but she absolutely adores him. It's kind of a paradox. It's great, to be honest. But that's probably about it, because when it comes to everything else, I'm a little disappointed when it comes to Luca. Like, yes, he's perfect, but what else is there? Where's the flaws? What else is there? I mean, we don't see him angry. He's always the calm one. He's basically helping everyone out. else. He's being what everyone else needs to be. So what else is there? What reason do I have to care other than he's the perfect man? And even then, why should I care? I guess, like, yes, he helped Marinette out a little bit, but even then, Marinette just, was Marinette, and things fell through the cracks, which that's a whole nother can of worms. There's a lot of can of worms in this damn show, alright? My goodness. But Luca, he's just the everyman. I hate to say it, but that's literally what he is. He is whatever the plot needs him to be and what the other characters need him to be. He's that blank slate that can just fill damn near any role. And it's just, I don't know, I would have liked to see something more with Luca. There was potential for something interesting, but I just don't see that interesting. Honestly, the only reason why I love Luca as much as I do is outside of the canon. I obviously indulge in a lot of fan fiction, fan art, and AUs where I see the fans make Luca something better, cooler. It's honestly tragic to see this canon character made so much better by the fans. Something, along the lines of a bad boy with a heart of gold or a sensitive soul looking for true love. It's written better by the fans, which Asterisk, take notes, which clearly you probably already have, judging how season 5 went, but I digress. Luca was a very strong contender at first, but now every time I see him on screen, I just laugh. No part of me can take him serious anymore, and I just laugh at him. It is a strange thing, don't get me wrong. Even I find it a little strange, but every time I see him, I just smirk and start chuckling to myself. Not made better when Celie decides to crack her jokes about Luca, and then I'm rolling on the floor barely breathing, but that's just how it is. That's how friends are. Luca, I'm sorry, you had so much potential, but you just couldn't make it, buddy. You're just good. Alright, so this is an interesting one. So, Kim. I actually put in Y. So, I know a lot of people don't really care for Kim, especially after Derision, because, well, Derision was awful. I'm not even gonna lie. It really made Kim look like a self-centered, selfish jackass. There's no sugarcoating that. It was just off. But prior to Derision, I didn't hate Kim. Kim was just kind of there in the background that suffered from a poor writing decision. And honestly, because of that poor writing decision, it kind of condemned him. I get what they were going for, the stupid jock, but Kim has been shown to have some sort of intelligence and is a stand-up guy. He cares about his friends and obviously is willing to help them out. And his friendship with Max is one of my favorite things. It's kind of cool seeing the jock be friends with the nerd. Usually be the jock beating up the nerd, but not here. They're genuinely friends. And Kim is just as much of a nerd as Max is. So it's honestly enjoyable to see. That's why I don't really like Derision for what it did. It made him seem like a heartless jackass for what he did to Marinette, which is a whole nother can of worms, which we'll get to that eventually. And then the whole, Chloe's the most beautiful and funniest woman alive. And Ondine's just like, how could you say that? Ondine, honey, girl, you should have just punched him, because that shit ain't cool. Honestly, most teenagers I know would have probably broke up with him that moment. I've seen pettier breakups for far less, and that would have been one of those petty breakups for a justified reason. Let's be fair there. Kim, you were an okay character that suffered from a very poor writing decision that honestly should not have happened, but we live in this timeline. So, I'm sorry, Kim. You could have been okay, but here we are. Oh, this one! Lila's okay. So, I do, on one hand, hate, what is it? All the lying, the compulsive lying, and all that kind of bullshit. It grates my nerves. But I also can't deny that Lila will be a formidable enemy. And I am looking forward to seeing her in Season 6 as the next butterfly holder, and Lord, I hope that's what she is, because hard to say at this fucking point with Astruck. But anyway, I do genuinely hate the compulsive lying, and I hate how everyone had to be dumbed down, but that is not Lila's fault. That is a writing problem. So I can't generally hate the character for the writers having to dumb everyone else down just to make it work. I'm sorry. That is not something I can do to hate the character. I still enjoy seeing her on screen when she does have her moments, because again, she is maniacal, she is manipulative, she does make it work otherwise. And yeah, no, I don't hate her as much as a lot of people do, but I hate the bad writing behind her, which is a thing for the entire series at this point. But we're here, and we're just suffering all together. So, oh my gosh, okay. Yeah. This one's just okay too, and I have a confession to make. So, I don't remember Mark at all. There, I said it. I don't remember this boy at all, and a lot of what I've had to learn about him has been through osmosis. I've had to learn through the grapevine about this character, and that's about it. The most I know is that he has a very popular ship with Nathaniel, which obviously is canon because I saw season 5. I have eyes. I saw that scene too, where they're snuck off and holding hands. It was actually really cute, and I'm just like, yes, let's go. But I digress. I don't know anything about this boy. I can't tell anything. I just know he is part of the team. He is Nathaniel's boyfriend. He is a writer. He likes romance, and he helped Mari and Adrian with their hopeful first kiss, which obviously fell through the cracks because, you know, peer pressure's cool and all, but it ain't gonna happen that way, son. But yeah, no, I don't know anything about this character. I don't remember him, and I might have missed his introduction. The most I remember about him is the scenes in season 5 where he is present. And I remember looking to Celia, and we both kind of had that look like, I don't like his voice. The English, by the way, the English VA. And she had to agree. She felt very similar that the voice was too deep for this kind of character, which I do agree. I don't know. Considering how he is, I don't know. The deeper voice just kind of threw me off. But that's more of a me thing. He's just okay. I don't know too much about him other than the most basic shit. And yeah, sorry, Mark. That's about all I can say about you. Uh-oh. No, we're here. Okay, we're here. So, yep, nope. All right, this is where I get ready for the pitchforks and torches. I don't like Marinette. It's obvious, okay? Like, Marinette in show suffers from so much bad writing, and it's very difficult to like her. I actually reveled more in the fact that she lost at the end at season 5 than actually, you know, anything else. It's probably why I don't hate Gabriel as much for the season 5. I actually enjoyed he won. But Marinette suffers from a lot of problems. And again, she's, yes, a teenager, but it's kind of sad when I see preteens younger than her who absolutely hate her as well because of her behaviors and how she's written as well. So I know for a fact I'm not the only one who shares these opinions, but another like 12 and 13-year-old gremlin pair that I know do. They do not like Marinette for, well, in her earlier seasons for her stalking, which I don't care what people say, that is a form of abuse. Even if Adrian is okay with it, and, you know, she's just a friend. Bullshit, thing like that. It's not cool. Seeing Marinette go out of her way to try and keep Lila from him when, you know, he had no problem with hanging out with Lila at the time. And obviously, you know, Kagami, she eventually obviously did just accept the fact that, you know, Adrian would be moving on. He had someone else in his heart. That was fine. It was nice to see that she had accepted that, moved on to Luca. And it was not because of Adrian that she and Luca broke up. So I don't mind that. I do give her a little flack for, obviously she can't really tell Luca about her being Ladybug, which really sucks, especially since her and Luca could have been something great. I think a lot of us could have agreed that. I've seen the Luca Net stuff. Yeah. I've seen that she could have been great. I don't like the whole guardian thing. It added a whole layer of responsibility to her shoulders that was not needed. It is something that the adults should have had, and it was actually very irresponsible for Master Fu to, you know, force that onto a 14-year-old. No matter how capable she may be, it was a very bad decision, which only honestly made things a lot worse. There's also the decisions that she makes, which, again, I can give her some slack because she is young and inexperienced. She's just going through what she believes she's doing right. However, the means do not justify the end, and it is on us to judge her afterwards and where she falls afterward. And quite frankly, I don't like it. I don't like her negligence towards Cat Noir and commenting that he's just another of the team, when that was never the case. Cat Noir was a lot more. That's why I hate Kira Neko. I understand the reasons for a lot of it, but they danced around the real reasons. And that's a lot of the big problem there. It's not because that he's just in love with you, Marinette. It's because you have been neglecting him as a friend and hero. There's also the case of Chloe, unfortunately. I do see Marinette at fault, because Marinette Ladybug was the one to give Ryuko Kagami the Miraculous when she had exposed her identity. This, of course, would have sent Chloe over the edge, and it was never acknowledged. I think that's the
the biggest thing that gets to me. I would not have cared if Marinette did it if she acknowledged the fault in it, or at least took some of the responsibility. That is my biggest gripe with Marinette. She just does things, they work out, and she doesn't truly learn a lesson from it. Some lessons are learned here and there, but as a whole, she doesn't feel too different from when we first saw her. She's just a girl that got a lot more responsibility and had to mature up a little bit and change her priorities. There's still some of the other stuff there, obviously, but it's toned down a lot more. And we're not even going to talk about derision because I understand what derision was. I understand they were trying to give something of a reason behind her stalking, for her compulsively wanting to know everything about Adrian, her love for Adrian, and everything like that. But it did not justify it. That's all I have to say. There is no reason to justify stalking in a teenager, nonetheless. And I'm sure a lot of the fan base can agree with that, especially from the circle I'm part of. But it's just not good. They honestly should not have tried to take the joke that was her stalking and make it serious. I'm just gonna fucking say it now. Marinette could have been something of a better character, but she just needed to learn more, in my opinion. She had the potential, she had the opportunities, but the lessons she needed to actually learn were missed. And that's what bothers me. She could have been a really good protagonist, been a lot more, but because of the writing and her being the golden girl, she suffered from it. I do wish we could have seen Marinette become more mature, learn the actual lesson she needed, but instead she is enabled by her best friend, her Kwame, and the others around her. People bend backwards for her word and what she says, and only when the plot needs it to, people go against her. She is the golden girl, and unfortunately, she suffers because of that. I do wish there was more to her, that she could have been a far better leader, but as it stands, I cannot like Marinette for the choices that the writing went with her. I'm sorry, but she unfortunately fell flat, and I'm hoping that Season 6 can rectify some of this, but knowing the writing team, I highly doubt it, which is what makes me sad. Alright, moving on from her, we have Max. You know, this is another one. He's just okay, honestly. I have no real strong opinion towards him. Same with Mark. I do remember more about Max than I do with Mark because obviously we had Max, I think, since season 1, whereas Mark came in at season 3, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. But we've had Max a lot longer, so we've been able to see a lot more of him. He really is just a background character. He's a smart guy. He's friends with Kim. I think Alex too. It's hard to say sometimes. But you know he's definitely friends with Kim. And I appreciate that. I like their friendship. I liked him. He was okay. He was a gamer, a nerd, everything else. So, you know, he's just fine. And, oh gosh, we have another one of these. Okay. So, Milan is another one that's just okay. I honestly find her a little more on the annoying part with the whole Mother Nature. Woo! And look, I'm a Wicca. I get it. You want to be one with nature. You're a tree hugger. You're all that kind of stuff. I've been called all those same things too, and honestly, I am as well, but I don't like the representation of it here. It's a little comedic, obviously, because that's what this is. This is still a comedy of sorts, but it does bother me seeing that kind of thing. I'm just like, oh, no, please. I don't mind everything else about you, just that little bit about you annoys me, and it's not often that it happens either. So, again, it's not a reason why they put her down lower into the Y tier, but it just something does grate me a little bit, and that's why she can't be better than okay. This may surprise some people, but you know, we're gonna put you here, bitch. Alright, so Natalie is close to perfection. What can I say? I like Natalie far more in the later seasons than I did in probably season 1. She was just the PA. That's fine. Season 2 rolls around and we get Mayura. That started my, draw to her. I'm like, okay, this is kind of cool. Then the whole Gabe Nat thing really drew me to her because I am an absolute slut for those toxic, unhealthy, horrible ships that are just full of angst and problems that are going to implode and just end in motherfucking disaster. And that's what Gabe Nat was. It was this carnival of toxicity where Natalie was willing to sacrifice herself for a man she loved to get back his dead wife that he was in love with. So it's like, no matter what, it was a one-sided, unrequited love. And I loved that. Made all the more that she was literally giving her life. I don't know, it was just something about that. It was just really good. Obviously, season 3 and season 4 roll around, and she obviously is sick from the peacock, and there's no way to heal her, so she is slowly dying, which I was sad about that. I'm just like, damn it, why can't we save her? You fixed the peacock, why can't we save fucking Natalie? And then season 5 rolls around, and I generally do enjoy this season where she gets to stand up against Gabriel. However, I don't know. I enjoy that rebellion, and I get it, because she's desperate. You had the chance to save us, but now you've condemned us and me. You've condemned me to death. I get her whole thing. It's fucking tragic as all hell. Again, it's what I loved about Gabe Nat, but obviously it imploded and it was over. Now it was just snarky ass Natalie, which I love as well. Unfortunately, she is just excellent, because I did not like her the entire time. Again, she was just the PA in the first season, and a lot of what I do love about her has come from headcanons and, my own writing and things like that. So in this show, Natalie is more excellent, but because of my own writing, I think she's better than what she actually is. And that's kind of just the sad truth of it all. Alright, Nathaniel. Nathaniel, I would actually say, is good. I do enjoy Nathaniel a little bit. I enjoyed the Illustrated I can speak, I can say words. Evil Illustrator, that whole episode, that was really fun. I like seeing the cute little crush she had on Marinette. If I'm not mistaken, I think it ended after that episode, but I could be wrong. I'm usually wrong about a lot of things. Anyway, no, Nathaniel's actually really cool. I like that he's a little comic artist, that he wants to, make his own comic, and he does meet up with Mark, and, it's not obviously perfect immediately, but they do make it work, and then he ends up dating Mark. You know what? I can't hate that. Again, I remember more about him than I do Mark, so if I remember Mark a little bit better, I could at least put Mark and Nathaniel together, but as it stands, I can't. Nathaniel is good, and I do enjoy him, and a lot of the faces I've seen him make are just a fucking mood, so that's also another reason I'm like, Nathaniel, yes, just yes. Okay, Nino, I find very annoying. So I'm sorry, I really do find him annoying, especially in season 5 when he's like, the resistance, viva la resistance, and we're gonna give you all condiment soldier names, and I'm just sitting here like, why? I get it, but why? It is suffering on a whole new level. Nino has just been that character I've never cared about. He really is he's just there. He has personality, don't get me wrong, and all that fun jazz that, would draw people to him, but I do find him annoying. Speaking of annoying characters, this is another one that's kind of okay. So, look, I like Julika, and I like Rose. I like them together. They're cute, they're wholesome, they're amazing, they're perfect. But on their own, I do not like Rose. She's very much mid. I find her voice very annoying. I find her very annoying. I find her overly romantic shenanigans very annoying. And, this is coming from someone who generally tends to like hopeless romantic characters. I mean, as far as I know, Mark is one, and I find him a little more tolerable, because, again, I don't remember him. So what little I do remember, I'm like, okay, this guy's cool. But Rose, I don't really care for. Again, I find her voice annoying. I find her annoying. I find her tendencies and everything else annoying. She works for Julika, though. If you put her with Julika, I like her a lot better. But on her own, no, I do not like her at all. I would probably maybe put her lower. But you know what? Because of Julika, she gets a little bit higher on this. Oh, dear. So Sabine, this is a tough one. So Sabine, I would probably say is good. I do enjoy Sabine. She's a good mother enough. I mean, I feel like she does kind of enable Mari just a touch, but I don't know. It's hard to say because we don't really get to see too much of Sabine and Marinette interacting, which again is another fault on their writers. But from what I do see of Sabine, she does seem to be a good mom and, caring and whatnot and all that fun jazz you'd expect. But I like her. She's nothing like Anarka, but, she's a good mom, as far as we can tell. Again, we don't see too much of her and Mari outside of, what there is, but it's from what we do have, it's fine, I guess. Okay. Oh gosh. Poor Sabrina. I'm sorry, you're just okay, hun. So, I don't hate Sabrina as much as most people might because she's just Chloe's lackey. I am actually more sad about the loss of what we could have had with Chloe's damnation. Like, she could have been redeemed. She could have had a really good relationship with Sabrina, which she did have a good relationship with Sabrina until, retcons are a thing and whatnot and so forth. But, I digress. We all digress. Sabrina is just okay. She's there, she's the lackey, she's there to do Chloe's bidding, and so on and so forth. There's nothing really too spectacular about her. She just kind of exists to be the mean girl's plus one, I guess is the best way to put it. But, she's here. She's fine. I have no bad things to say about her. Tom, I would have to say is also okay. I cannot tolerate Tom as much as Sabine, mostly because of the whole overprotectiveness. And I've always had a general thing about overprotective people, and it makes me want to punch them. I am a very violent person, just so you guys know. It's just, Tom, I do not like you in a lot of regards, and I didn't really care for him in the movie either, seeing him just kind of sneak off to the, carnival or fair or whatever the fuck that thing was, or festival, I don't fucking remember what they called it, but seeing him sneak off just to make sure Marinette was safe, I'm just like, dude, I get it, she's your daughter, she's your baby girl, but fuck's sakes, mate. I don't think I've seen very many parents like that. Obviously there are parents like that in this fucking world. I mean, come on, we're all different, we all handle things differently, but come on, man, she's gonna be fine, and if not, well, then, oh well, mistake were made. That was awful, but we're here. Ooh, Tomo. Okay, yeah, I think Tomo can go in the fuck off. So, Tomo doesn't quite have the same awful mother vibe to her as Audrey does, which makes Audrey a joy for me to watch. Because Audrey is a lot like Mother Gothel, and I fucking love Mother Gothel. Whereas Tomo is just, your typical, stereotypical, how do you say it? Asian parent that's very strict and hard on their child. And, I get it. It's not my favorite thing when I see it, because I myself am a free spirit, so I'm over here screaming, just do something, Kagami. And then just seeing Tomo be Tomo, I don't like it. Then again, it just reminds me of bad things, and I'm just like, I don't really care for you. You're not terrible, but, you could be a lot better. It's poor writing, I'd say, if anything else. A lot of the things here is poor writing, let's be honest. Alright, last one, Zoe. Okay, Whoppa! Alright, sorry everyone, it's a why. We had Chloe, I get the damnation, but if we wanted Zoe in, I think I agree with a few other people that she should have been introduced in season 2 with Audrey, and not, season 4? Something like that? I think it was season 4. I don't know. Again, I don't remember a lot of the shit half the time. But Zoe, I'm sorry, you're cute, you're nice, but I don't know what else there is to you, to be entirely honest, other than a replacement for Chloe. Because we didn't get the Chloe redemption, we got the Chloe damnation, so instead we get Zoe. We get the consolation prize. That's all you are, nothing more. Sorry to say that, lassie. Anywho, that is my, take a lovely look at this magnificent list. Again, I do find a lot of the characters here okay. There's a few, obviously, just a few, let's be honest. There's a lot of questionable writing in this show, and I have some hopes for season 6. I don't want to say high hopes, because let's be honest, we're gonna have them all dashed. Anyway, this is my opinion of the miraculous characters, of how they are in the show. If we're interested in the other way I see them, let me know, and maybe I might do that. Anyway, you guys all have an amazing morning, afternoon, evening, day, or night, whatever the case may be, and we will see you all next time.